Hey guys, welcome to the news of Oceania Football. My name's Anthony and we're back with interviews. So today we've got a very, very special guest. He's back for another interview, so let's say part two, basically. If you want to see part one, I'll put it in the description below and check out his first interview because it's a very interesting interview. But if you don't know this person, would you love to introduce yourself, please?
So my name is Federico Diaz. I've been on the channel before, and I'm happy to be back. So I'm ready to go.
Great. So you're like the first person to be back on again.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's an honor.
So basically, he's a centre back, and he played recently in Cambodia. So the first question is that, how did you get a move to Cambodia? How did this all transpire? Basically.
So it actually started. Everything started around this time last year. So I went on. I was on LinkedIn one day and I was just scrolling about, and I managed to see there was an English guy who posted about some showcase in Southeast Asia. So my first thought was obviously Thailand. So I reached out to him. I played in Thailand before, so reached out to him. Told him, hey, like I'm interested in your showcase. Et cetera. He replied right away. It was very nice, and he was like, "Hey, just send me your CV, send me your videos." So whatever I had at the time, I sent it to him. He probably got back to me within maybe a couple of days because of time difference, or a day or two, whatever it was, because of the time difference. And yeah, he said, "Listen, you got enough experience. You think you're a good player. Like, definitely come to the showcase." And he's like, "I'll send you all the details." So he sends me all the details maybe within like the next couple of days, and I saw it was Cambodia. And to be fair, I didn't even know what Cambodia was.
Yeah.
I've heard of Cambodia, but I didn't even know what it was. If somebody asked me at that time to point at it on the map, like I couldn't tell you where it was. And yeah, so end of May came around, and I had been playing here in America in the UPSL with the Carney Scott Americans. And towards the end of the month of May, I flew out to Cambodia to do the showcase. It was a 10-day showcase with a lot of other UK, American, African, Asian players. And lucky enough, I was one of the top 5 players at the showcase. I managed to get a trial with a first division team called Tiffy Army. Now, while I was there, we played a couple teams, which were Prey Vang, Bong Ket, which are 2 first division teams, and we played against Next Step, which is the team that I last played for, which is Angkor City. They changed their name. So we played those 3 teams. Obviously, I'm not going to lie to you, as a team, we weren't that good. But, at the end of the day, most of those showcases, it's not really about how you do as a team, it's how you do individually.
Yeah.
And so I went, I managed to get a session in with Tiffy Army. I played in a friendly with them against ISI Dankor. I played about 45 minutes, I think it was. Played decently well. I played at Tiffy Army Stadium. And the coach was interested, but they had a lot of foreigners at the time. So then the next day we played against Bong Ket there. And it was a good challenge for us because Bong Ket has the all-time leading goal scorer for the Cambodian Premier League, which is Chan Batanak or something like that. I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name. And it was good to play against a player like that. He plays for the national team, and it's good to play players like that at that level. The coaches were there from Tiffy Army. They really liked it, and they were interested. And, like I said, there was too many foreigners and stuff like that. So the guy who brought me over, we stayed after the showcase. He told me straight up, he was like, listen, there was a lot of interest from clubs here, but there was a lot of interest from Tiffy Army. If things change at the mid-season window, we'll bring you back. Blah blah blah. We'll stay in touch. I definitely think you can play here. I know you can play here. Yeah. And time passed by. I stayed watching the Premier League on YouTube because it's on YouTube. And I was watching. I'm like, man, I mean, I played with these guys. I know I can play there. And I stayed in contact with this guy. His name's Aaron, by the way. I stayed in contact with Aaron, and around November, he randomly just shot me a message. He's like, hey, how would you like to come play for Angkor City, which is the old Next Step team? And I was like, yeah, like I'm all with it, And he's like, great. So he put us in a little group message between the coach, which is he's actually English as well. His name's Charlie Pomeroy, and the director of football, which is Richard Harkis. And right away, we started discussing details, whatever it was, and by the end of December, early January, I was out in Cambodia, and yeah, that's how I got to Cambodia. I mean, so yeah, it was a bit of a journey, but I got there. That's how I got there originally.
No, great. That's great. Like, and when you got out there to Cambodia, how was the country like? How did you settle down in the country? With the people, the lifestyle.
So, the first time I went in June, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was very uneducated on Cambodia. I knew nothing about Cambodia. So we flew to the capital, which is Phnom Penh, and just by looking at it when flying in, it looked like one of those like old school movies where they're shot in like Asian countries. It's like busy, noisy, trafficy, bikes everywhere. And to be honest, like it wasn't far off from that. We were lucky we stayed in a very well-off area in Phnom Penh where we stayed for the showcase. So it was a nice area. It was a very wealthy area. So it was Asian cities for the most part, very primate. They're big, they're massive. You can get lost in them if you don't know your way around. But it was a good time. It was amazing. It reminded me of, I wouldn't say it reminded me sort of Bangkok, but it's obviously not the same. I really liked it. But when I went now in January, I went to another city, which is 5.5, 6 hours north of Phnom Penh, which is called Siem Reap. And to be honest, I absolutely loved it. The first few days, I knew nothing about it. I just knew I had made a few friends from the showcase, so they were there. And, I knew that I was going to a city, townish, village kind of thing because, they still have dirt roads and, et cetera, et cetera. So, it was a bit more of not a culture shock, but it's like, you got to get used to these things because you're not used to it. So, first couple of days was a little different, but the cool thing is that Siem Reap is very relaxed, very laid back. You can literally walk, bike, motorcycle, basically everywhere. And I mean, I loved it. It's cheap. It's cheap to go to Cambodia. It's cheap to live there. As long as you have a well-paying job, or if you're playing football and you're getting paid decently well, it's very, very good to live. And to be honest with you, it's a very good place to make a career out of yourself. There was another American guy who played there. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but Johnny Campbell. I mean, he basically made his whole career in Cambodia. And obviously he played in Vietnam and other places now, but he's currently in Indonesia. But I mean, he started his career in Cambodia. So the Cambodian game is still very, very young, raw. It still needs. There's still a lot of room for improvement and growth. But surely it'll get there. I'm assuming. They're bringing in good foreigners. They're bringing in good coaches. They're trying to make the country develop better, the game develop better. But the problem with Cambodia is that Cambodian people are very stubborn, like very, very stubborn. Cambodian people are amazing. Like they're very nice. They're very helpful. I mean, especially in Siem Reap, like everybody tried to help you if you barely spoke any English. Like, if they barely spoke any English, they tried to help you. Obviously, me, like I like to try to learn somewhat things in their language. So, I try to immerse myself in the culture. And I would try to learn Khmer, which is Cambodian language. And they love that. They appreciate that. If you say like even the smallest thing in their language, they'll like, oh my God, like he's the word for foreigners, barang. So they'd be like, oh, this barang is trying to learn how to speak Khmer. And I mean, like again, like when it came to like the street stuff, market stuff, buying stuff, going out stuff, Khmer people are amazing. They're super nice, super laid back. But when it comes to football, they're very stubborn. Very, very stubborn. it's not like Thailand where they could be stubborn, but if you actually talk to them in a good manner, they'll listen to you. Here it's like, in Cambodia it's more like, well, you're a foreigner, who the hell are you to tell me what I should be doing, how I should play, kind of thing. Until they respect you. I mean, even then, it's still a little tough. Like, they still refuse to listen, and they're very emotional people. So you really got to know how to speak to them. Obviously, like, we play on the western side of the world, the western hemisphere. So, we can be a little rough. We can yell at each other, we can curse at each other, but it's all part of the game. And, whatever happens on the field, it stays on the field. But with them, you can't really do that. Like, if you kind of yell at them, maybe you curse at them, you got to take it down a notch just so they can understand, like, where you're coming from. So that at first, for me, the first couple games was very, very tough because, I'm used to yelling at everybody here, giving orders, as a center back, like, and they just wouldn't take really well to it. And also if somebody made a mistake, like, I'd get on their back so they can do better. But I would notice that when I got on their back, they would do worse. So it's kind of like an opposite, when someone's having a stinker and, you're trying to tell them, like, hey, like, get your head out your ass, like, let's do better. But you can't tell them that, and you just got to be like, oh, like, you're playing great, like, keep doing it, keep working hard. Even though you're lying, and that might not be true, but it's the only way you can get into them, or you can get on their good side so they can respect you. So that was a little tough, I'm not gonna lie. And then the heat, man. Oh my God. When I went in June, it was hot. It was very hot. And in UK terms, it was like 40 degrees every day.
Oh, whoa.
But over there, at the time that we went, it was rainy season. So it would rain in the mornings and it'd cool off a little bit in the evenings. But I went now during dry season, and man, it was 40 degrees every single day. We trained on artificial pitches, so you can imagine it's even hotter. And we trained at 3:00 in the afternoon, which is, that's when the sun is blazing. So that's something to get used to at first. And I'm not going to lie, it took a couple games to get acclimatized because it is hot. And you sweat so much, you get dehydrated quickly. And that's another thing too, like, it's so hot and you see people wearing long sleeves and you're just like, what are you doing, Long sleeves, it's like, it's 12 degrees outside, there's snow out, it's rainy, that's for long sleeves. But over there, like, they use it as a means of protection. They don't want to get burned from the sun. So, it was just mind-blowing to me, like, seeing guys with, like, neck warmers and, like, Under Armour. And I'm like, dude, it's like 40 degrees. Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, those are, like, the things that, like, took me a little bit of time to get used to. But other than that, like, I loved it. I honestly, I loved everything about Siem Reap. I loved where I was, where I stayed. I lived close to the center of town, the city, whatever you want to call it. And it was just great, And if I could go back to playing Cambodia, like, I know that obviously playing in Phnom Penh is much more financially wealthier and better and all that stuff. But to be honest with you, if I could go play in Siem Reap again, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Okay, that's great. And as you say, like, the playing in Cambodia, like, was it competitive as you thought it was when you played in the league, or you thought it was not up there? So what was your...
I'll be honest, like, when I played against the first division teams, like, those teams were competitive. And I played for Angkor City, and we played in the it's got two names. I don't know which one it is. It's either the Cambodian Second League or they call it also the Cambodian Premier League 2, so whatever you want to name it. But in the second division, it's a lot of B teams. So there's only a couple of independent teams like Angkor City, Siem Reap FC, Ministry of Interior, which is the police. And I think there's one more, Life FC. Everybody else is a reserve team, as a B team. So Tiffy Army B, Visaka B, ISI B. I forgot who else there is. But To be honest, it was decent. Like the football in Cambodia is slower. You have more time on the ball. You can play more. Whatever. But the players are fast. They're rapid. They're your typical Asian player. They're very technical. They're quick. So even though you have all this time, if you're getting countered, like you're gonna have these very rapid, agile Asian players like coming at you. So that's something to get used to again. And the heat, it's like, dude, it's crazy. I personally thought it was competitive, but to be fair, again, I'm not trying to diss the league or diss the level. I respect everybody who I played with and at that level, but it's not as high as I thought. I knew that from the start, but the only reason I took the opportunity to play was because, one, I wanted to play. I wanted to go back to Asia to play. Obviously, I needed to fill a gap in the CV, and this was the perfect opportunity. Again, my team, and again, I'm not dissing anybody, and I'm not trying to diss our coach. He might watch this, so I don't want him to feel like I'm disrespecting him. But our team wasn't great. It just wasn't a great team. We were very disorganized. Just a lot of things off the field, and they would translate on the field, and we just weren't a great team. We had good players, but we just weren't a good team. So, when you play on a bad team and you're playing in a league that's not that good, but you're one of the worst, it makes it even harder to be competitive, But again, like I said, I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed playing with my teammates. I enjoyed playing against the teams I played. Out of whatever amount of games I played, I scored one goal in, I think it was 6 games or whatever it was, 8 games. I don't even remember how many games we played. But, for a center back, that's not bad. That's not bad. It's decent stats. I played 90 minutes most of the time. I think I only played one game. I played 45 minutes. Other than that, everything I played, over 65, 90 minutes every single game, But again, like I said, the level was okay. But at the end of the day, if you're somebody who's trying to close a gap in your CV, or maybe you've been out of the professional game for a year or a season or two, it's a good way to, just get your feet wet again, get back in the market, and then just, get out there and play. I mean, unfortunate for me, since I've played mostly in Asia, when I come here to America, it's very hard for me to get a team because no one knows me. That's why, sometimes I get, questions and not concerns, but people ask me you just played professionally in Asia, why are you playing semi-pro back in America? Well, that's the issue. I played in Asia. No one knows me here. Even though I live here, even though I grew up here, I'm American, all that stuff, but no one knows me here. And it's everywhere in the world, but on this side of the world, it's more than in the Asian side of the world. It's who you know here. And if you don't know people, or you don't got a friend that's playing at a certain level, you're not gonna play at that level. Again, I'm not trying to sound cocky, I'm not a cocky person, but sometimes I could watch the USL, maybe not championship, I'll be honest, I don't think I can play the championship though, but I watch the USL League One, Nisa, and I'm just some of these guys are no better than I am, and I could play there, no problem. Obviously, then you look at it at a different angle because, my age, I'm over 30, some of these teams don't pay very well, so if you're looking at it at that point, then yeah, maybe, playing here is not, I'm better off. But yeah, that's the thing, I played in Asia, so my name is in Asia. Everybody, or people that know me, or people that I played, or it's over there now. Even in Cambodia, I was told, and I was what's the word I'm looking for? I was asked to make a Facebook page, my own player page, and I would post on it every week, pictures and my highlight video and all that stuff. And it literally went from 0 to 200 followers in a week. And it was great. And people all over Cambodia would message me, ask me hey, can I get your jersey and all that stuff. And again, that stuff to me, it's it's not important. It's cool. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It is nice. And talking to fans and all that stuff. But it just shows how how you can make a difference taking your career to play somewhere else. Even there was times where I would walk to training. I mean, training was walking was 45 minutes, an hour away. But, I'd take my time. That would be my warm-up, basically. And I would have people stop me and take pictures. Like, you Angkor City player, can I take a picture? And it was cool, I'm sweating bullets.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, trying to look good. But it was nice, I remember we played in the Unnamed Cup, which this was the first year that they allowed foreigners to play. So obviously all of us foreigners from Angkor City were allowed to play. And it was a great experience. We played against ISI Angkor, which is, it's a good club. They have very good foreigners. They pay good money. Obviously we lost the first leg, whatever, at home. But we went down to play them at their stadium. And by far one of my favorite stadiums. Amazing field, amazing atmosphere. We played at night, 7 o'clock at night. And after the game, I had came off in the 85th minute. I came off cramped, and I had just this random kid come up to me. He came up to me and actually Bruno, who you actually had on the channel here, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys are my favorite players," and blah blah blah. Can I take a picture with you guys? And it was like, dude, it's so surreal, because it's like, dude, I'm a nobody, but here, I'm a somebody. So it's cool, it's cool how that happens. But again, like I said, once you go to a certain market, it's rough, it's tough to go somewhere else. I had this I wouldn't say an argument with a certain guy on Instagram from a certain European country. I don't want to say or anywhere, but I sent him my stuff. I sent him my current highlight video from Angkor City, and he was like, "Oh, this is what was it? Catastrophe. I don't even know the word. He said, and he basically saying it was horrible. How do I think I'm going to play in Europe?" And I was like, I took it a little to heart, and I kind of wanted to respond in an asshole way, but I was like, you know what? Let me just be the bigger person. I was like, okay, thank you. Best of luck. And it's that just proved to me more. It's well, that's the thing. I played in Asia. Europeans, as much as I know that Lithuanian, Latvian football is not that much better than some Asian countries, it's just how they see it. It's Asia, and then they don't think you're good enough, and unfortunately, it is what it is. You just got to take it with a grain of salt and just move on and just focus on what you can do and where you can go to play and continue your career. A lot of people shoot down Asia. Why? Because it's who knows Cambodia? Who knows Thailand? Who knows Indonesia? But you'd be surprised that there's a lot of foreigners from the UK, English, Scottish, Welsh, that actually play in those countries, and they're probably some of the highest paid foreigners or players in the country, and they're some of the best players in the country or in the league. I had a teammate in the showcase in Cambodia. His name's Tommy O'Sullivan, and he's Welsh, and he played for the Welsh under-17s, under-20s, played at Cardiff City, played League 1, League 2, National League. I think now he's playing for Gloucester City. No, not Gloucester City. He played for Gloucester City, but now he plays for Buckley Town, on National League South, I think it is. The guy's had a good career, and he went over there to give it a shot, and teams were interested in him like crazy. But a guy like that, with a crazy CV like that, can easily go play any first division league over there. Yeah. But what's the thing? If he could go play over there, right? Maybe play 2-3 years, let's say Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then he probably says, you know what, let me go home and play. And teams are going to be like, you played in Asia, but look at the guy's CV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is tough. It is tough. So I don't know. I mean, I think I went off a little bit off the topic, so I apologize. But
no, okay.
But yeah, it's just like I said. I enjoy playing Asia, and I mean, I wish I could play here. I wish I could play for some professional teams here. I mean, like I said, I feel like I can, but I mean, it is what it is. My name's in Asia now, so.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's football. That's the journey of it. That's the ups and downs about it, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And the basically the last one is what is next for you? What is next? What's the future or ambition for
you? I mean, listen, I still want to play a couple more years. My dream since I was a kid, has always been playing first division anyway. I don't wanna jinx it, or I don't want to throw out too much information because I don't really know yet. But I do have interest from a couple teams in Indonesia, both League One and League Two. There is possibilities of me going back to Cambodia, probably either the second tier or the first tier. I do have interest from the first tier as well. I do have options to go to Thailand, Thai League 3. I had an option to go to Thai League 2, but the person who told me, it was like, it might be a little tough, blah, blah, blah. So again, I just want to play. I just want to be able to play at a decent level. I would like to play first division, because it is my dream. It's the goal I've always wanted. And even if I go on and play 15 minutes and I tear my hamstring, I'll be happy. I achieved my dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter to me. But yeah, that's the plan right now. I got a couple months. I'll be here in America for probably the next 2-3 months. I train in the mornings with a couple friends. I'm playing right now UPSL Premier Division, which is 4th tier football here. I'm looking to get into USL League 2. I know it's not much of a better level, but the name does weigh a little bit more. So I'm looking to see if I can get into USL League 2 with a couple teams in my area. I don't want to go out of the state. And then, yeah, man, again, just got to weigh my options, see where I'm going to end up. And, if I can play in those countries, great. And if not, then, it is what it is. If that's football, it's very cutthroat. You never know. It's always a revolving door. Players are in and out, especially in Asia. Every half season, transfer window, players come and go. So you never know. But yeah, right now I'm very interested in the Indonesian possibility. It's just because it is first division, and second, obviously. But yeah, Cambodia does hold a little big spot in my heart right now. So if I could play in the Premier League there, that would be sensational.
Okay, no, great. All I can say is, thank you so much for doing this interview.
No problem, man. Anytime.
And all I can say is, good luck, whatever next, and hopefully you do play in the first divisions in Asia, or maybe Europe, whatever comes your way, basically.
I appreciate it.
Good. But yeah, just thank you so much for doing this interview and sharing your story and life in Cambodia.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right. Thank you, and take care of yourself as well.
I will, brother. You too.